Hey guys, I've been getting tons of questions on Instagram as to what happened, what is wrong, what's going on with Milan. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for all your prayers and well wishes, your DMs, your emails, your texts, everything. I just want to thank everyone because prayer really helps. And secondly, I want to let you guys know that I don't mind the questions. I know a lot of people left under the comments like what happened or what's going on. I don't mind those kind of questions because you never know who you can help by simply answering a question, and you never know who can help you by letting someone else know the situation you're going into. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys know what happened. On Sunday, March 3rd, it was a regular normal day. You know, we got up, we had breakfast. I think Milan ate like a bowl of cereal. Honey Nut Cheerios to be exact. For lunch, she had a sandwich. But with her sandwiches, like, she's really, really picky. So sometimes she'll eat the whole sandwich, and other times she'll, like, rip it apart and just eat, like, the meat separately and the cheese separately. So that's what she did. She never ate the bread, but she did eat the meat and cheese, and then I gave her, like, some strawberries afterwards. So right around dinner time, her and her brother were dancing, and Milan fell and hit her mouth. So after she fell, she cried, of course. And when I looked, like, her upper lip was busted. But I didn't, like, really think it was a big deal. So for dinner, she tried to eat her dinner, and she cried, like, hysterically. Which I can understand because her mouth was busted. So I was like, okay, it's probably a little fragile. So she just kept asking for stuff. She asked for her dinner. She couldn't eat it. She started crying. Then she asked for strawberries. She couldn't eat it. She started crying. Then she asked for oranges. And I was like, absolutely not. If you can't even eat that, the oranges are like going to burn your mouth. So I ended up making her a strawberry banana smoothie because I figured if she drinks it through the straw, it wouldn't bother her lip. So she did end up drinking half of the smoothie. So after dinner time, we did our normal routine. Went upstairs, washed up, and got in the bed. Monday morning, which was March 4th, Milan woke up. I was already in the shower when she woke up, and she called my name like she normally does. She said, "Mommy, where are you?" I said, "I'm in the shower." So she walked in the shower, normal routine. Walked into the bathroom, normal routine, and waited for me. She normally likes to lay on the bathroom floor while I'm in the shower, so she asked me to put the towel down for her. I put the towel down for her. She laid on the floor. Normal. So we went back in the room after I got out the shower, and I set her up on the bed. And she did lay down, so I was like, oh, she's still tired. So after I got dressed, I went to get Milan dressed, and when I laid her down to, like, wash her off and stuff, she stayed in that same position. So I'm like, oh, baby girl, you're tired. So I got her dressed. Then it was time for me to do her hair. When I set her up to do her hair, she kind of, like, fell over. And I'm like, Milan, you got to sit up and let mommy do your hair. Now, sometimes she'll do this. Like, this isn't that strange, because sometimes if she doesn't want to get her hair done and she's still tired, she will, like, lay on the bed and then run from me. But this time she laid on the bed and didn't run from me. So I'm just like, whatever, she's tired. So after that, she kind of I took her downstairs and I sat her on the couch. She was dressed. We were about to walk out the door. So I was packing her bag, and I heard her mumble, "Mommy, I want candy." But the way she said it was, like, really, really strange to me. So I'm like, oh, she's that tired. She could barely talk. So I was like, Milan, you'll get candy in a minute. She cried it again. "Mommy, I want candy." And I was like, okay, Milan. I was like, but you have to open it at daycare. So when I put it in her hand, it fell out her hands. Sort of like she didn't have a tight grip on the candy. Okay, come here. So I was like, Milan, are you okay? So she was just like, I want candy. So I'm like, okay, by the time we get to the daycare, which the daycare is literally around the corner from my house, if this child has not gotten herself together, then I'm probably going to stay home because she's tired. So we get to the daycare, and I tell her teacher, I'm like, Milan seems super tired today. And I was like, so I'm not sure what's going on with her. As I placed Milan down on the floor, she takes 3 steps and almost collapsed. I grabbed her so she didn't fall, but she almost collapsed. So I looked at the teacher and I was like, I'm going to take her to the ER. And she was like, yeah, because she doesn't look good. So I took Milan to the ER, and by the time I got to the ER, she was so lethargic that she couldn't even hold on to me when I was walking with her. Your baby's heavy? Ooh, why are you carrying her like that? So at this time, I'm really starting to freak out. So her brother EJ grabs her from me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, EJ, she's not acting normal. She's not acting normal. He's like, Mom, she's just tired. And I was like, EJ, no, like, you can't keep telling me that she's tired. I was like, she's not even holding on to you. So at this time, I'm freaking out, and I'm like, when she fell yesterday, I wondered, like, did she bump her head? Is something going on with her head? So now I'm like in complete panic mode. So they try to take her signs, and when they lay her down to like check her weight and stuff, well, they asked her to stand up, and I was like, she cannot stand. She's not going to be able to stand. So they measured her. They took her vital signs. By the time they took her to the back where they were about to draw blood, they went to insert the IV into her, and Milan did not even make a sound. So then I became even more frantic, and I started crying hysterically because I'm like, what's going on with my baby? She was just fine. Like, what's going on with my baby? By this time, her dad's here. So I removed myself from the room because I just cannot watch. I cannot deal with them poking on her, and she's not even reacting. So I step out the room, and I just hear them saying she has to be transmitted to CHOP because this is not typical for a 2-year-old. So I lose it. I know the doctors think that I'm completely crazy. I went hysterical. I just went berserk. Like, I lost my mind because I'm like, my daughter was fine yesterday. She was fine. And now today she can't talk. She can't walk. She's lethargic. Like, is she dying? And I'm just like, what's wrong with my daughter? Someone please help my daughter. So we ended up we stay in that emergency room a little bit longer until CHOP comes. But before then, they check her sugar. And they're like, her sugar is like 40 something. I can't remember the exact number. So they give her, I can't remember the regular name, the real name for it, but they give her sugar water through the IV. So now I'm just like, why did her sugar drop? Like, so now I'm thinking like the worst. I'm like, please do not tell me my child has cancer. Like, please, like, what's going on? So they're like, did she take anything? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, no, I don't even keep medicine. I don't even take medicine. No. So they have to, take a toxology report and everything just to make sure she didn't take anything. So they're still they have her connected to the IV. They're giving her the sugar water. So as the water starts pumping through her veins, like, she becomes a little bit more aware and alert. And she says, Mommy. And I'm just crying, and I'm just holding her, but I'm just trying to be strong for her because I don't want her to see me crying. I don't want her to see me scared because Milan hates to be scared. Anything that scares her, she's looking for me and her father for comfort. So both her father, myself, my sister, and my friend are all in a room at this time, and they're like doing a lot of poking around on her, and we're waiting for Children's Hospital to come get us. So I'm pretty much just like, Lord, what's going on? Like, what's going on? CHOP comes, and they take us to Children's Hospital, and they run the same test. They give her an EKG, they give her an x-ray, they did an ultrasound of her stomach, they drew more blood, they took urine, they gave her a CAT scan. Nothing was wrong with her brain. Her brain was fine. Nothing was wrong with her urine. Her urine was fine. Nothing was wrong with this child except for her sugar. So they're like, has this ever happened? And I'm like, no. And I said, but the craziest thing is, she was crying for candy. And I was like, and I ignored her because I'm like, you cannot have candy for breakfast. And they were like, that's really crazy for a 2-year-old to pick up that's what she needed. They were like, she needed sugar because her sugar dropped. Long story short, because it is a really long story, we ended up staying at CHOP for 3 days. And they came to the conclusion that Milan's sugar dropped because she was fasting for a long period of time. So due to the fact that Milan barely ate her breakfast, she barely ate her lunch, and she didn't eat dinner at all. And we woke up sort of late because we had a 2-hour delay, so she wasn't able to eat breakfast on time. So they told me Milan was suffering from what they call ketotic hypoglycemia. And what that is when a child goes a long period of time fasting, their sugar starts to drop. Ketotic hypoglycemia. What in the world? So I started asking them, like, okay, so does this mean that she has low blood sugar? And they're like, well, we kept her here for the 3 days to see how long she can go before her sugar starts to drop. and if this was a one-time thing or if it could reoccur. So basically they want me to make sure that Milan eats, which she does. Milan does eat. However, they want me to make sure that she eats more. They want me to make sure that before bedtime I give her a snack. And they also recommend that I carry around either cake icing or some kind of sugary candy drink with me at all times in case I notice her becoming lethargic or her mood starts to change, like it, changed on the 4th of March. With that being said, Milan is not on any medication. They said that ketotic hypoglycemia does go away on its own in most cases. So by the time she's in 3rd grade, she should show no signs. However, I am going to keep a lookout on it, and I'm going to meal prep for Milan because I have to make sure that my child eats. I don't care if she eats the same thing every day. As long as it's healthy and as long as I know she's going to eat it, that's what I'm going to make for her because she cannot afford to skip a meal. And the most ironic part is my child was crying out for candy. I did not know that candy was going to save her life. Like, if I would have ignored the signs and I would have just took her home and had her go to sleep, my child, she would have had a seizure. She would have been basically in a coma. So you guys, sometimes we just look at our kids and we're like, oh, you're fine. Maybe you're tired. I'm not going to blame myself because I took the right steps. I did take her to the hospital. I didn't, the story may sound long, but the time that it took me to get up and take her to the hospital, it was literally 30 minutes because my daycare is literally around the corner from my house. Literally. I can walk around the corner. And the hospital is literally 10 minutes from my house. So that was really a short period of time. So I just want to let you guys know that sometimes when our kids are crying out for candy, maybe they are crying out for help. Not saying that you should just keep giving your kids sugar because your child could be suffering from diabetes. But I'm just saying it's just so ironic that Milan was able, and that was the only word she kept asking for. That's the only thing she kept asking for. Not mommy, not daddy, not toys, nothing. Candy. And that's what she needed.
What was that?
No, Milan, that was not a big bite. Sorry. I'm about to help her eat the rest of her food and call it a night. Yeah, so hopefully she eats. Hopefully.